Hey everyone, it's Mira Crawford, and I'm back for my weekly career tips, especially if you are interviewing or looking for a new opportunity, whether you are currently hired and working at a place that may not be working out for you, or you are actively searching. We all know that in the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank, a lot of startups are really feeling the pressure, letting a lot of people go. Really unfortunate. The tech industry is just really, really difficult, but I wanted to circle back on the things that we learned during the Great Resignation. And what we learned is that we really do prioritize work-family balance. We really want time to be with our families. We want time to work on things in our personal lives. And we don't want to be stuck behind a computer 24/7. Some people really mastered that during the Great Resignation, and they were still working and working remotely, and that works. I am one of those people who do really, really well working autonomously and without any help. But not everyone's like that. Some people do need office experience. They do need to have that time to talk to other people. Again, I've said it before, I'm a natural introvert, so it doesn't really bother me, and I'll reach out when I need to, and then, of course, when I don't. But being a leader and having been a people manager for many, many years now, I do try to make myself as available as possible for my team so that way, if anything comes up, they don't feel abandoned or that they couldn't come talk to me, and make sure that I coach and develop them. So, what I wanted to say was a couple things. The first one is as you go through LinkedIn, Glassdoor, I highly recommend that you go on Glassdoor if you find a position where there may be smoke, there's fire. If you see a couple of disgruntled, edits, not so bad, but if you're starting to see consistent trends around leadership and DEI and micromanaging and no work-life balance, and that may not be the role for you. And I would definitely go ahead and move on. If you are looking at LinkedIn, I would definitely make sure you read the entire post, because what I have been noticing is that a lot of companies are doing a bait and switch. And what I mean by that is that they're saying that the role is remote, but you have to travel 50%. Then that's not remote. Or they may be saying that it's remote, but you need to live in this state and you need to come to the office 2 or 3 times a month. That also isn't remote. If remote is what you're looking for, make sure you're reading those descriptions because they are in the fine print at the bottom, usually where the equal opportunity employer post is. So be sure to pay attention to that. The next thing I wanted to encourage you on, and I kind of posted about it last night, was if you get a bad feeling from the recruiter, don't feel like you have to keep moving on. I mean, I had talked to her, excuse me, I had talked to a recruiter a couple weeks ago, and she was 25 minutes late with no email, no idea why she was late. I just kept going about my day. And she was so unpersonable, was clearly just running through 5 questions that she wanted to ask and just really wanted to be off the call. Now, I asked her if she was okay. She said that she had a sick daughter, so I do understand that. And so I tried to kind of be like, okay, maybe that's just an off day for her. I go on to this company's Glassdoor, and there are serious systemic problems that I certainly don't want to be involved in. What I look for in a career is work-life balance since I am a mom. And I also look for ways that I can continue to grow my career so that way I can teach my daughter that you can be anything you want to be. And that's something that's really important to both my husband and I. And I also want to make sure that the company that I'm working for is providing me the level of experience that I would need for my next step. You're never going to be in a role forever. You definitely want to be looking at roles that are going to challenge you and get you to the next step. My next tip would be if you hit 60% of the job's requirements, apply. It's been shown time and again that women of color and people of color in general, but especially women, feel like they have to have 100% of the job's requirements ready in order to pursue it. And that is just not true. Men will apply the second they see that they have 50%. And you know what? All you have to do if you are selected for an interview is say, while I don't have that direct experience, I would love to learn about it. And I think this would be a really great opportunity for you to learn. There's always a way to spin that and make it an opportunity instead of something that's a negative. And then finally, what I would do is if you do have a really good interview and you are very involved in the process, I would, of course, thank the interviewer for their time. I would even say, I'd love to share some examples of my work if we have another conversation, perhaps with the hiring manager. And that just shows that you're willing to take the extra step and that you're also willing to show them how you think and how you process as an employee by showing them that work. Now, I'm not saying show them something that's proprietary or anything that could get you into legal trouble. If it's not proprietary, if it's more like workflows, things like that, you can definitely show them those examples. And then the final thing I wanted to say is this is a bias that I have. If it doesn't bother you, then by all means, keep moving. But the second I receive a email from a company that I have applied to, and they want me to take a cognitive test and that shows that each test is like 45 minutes or 75 minutes, I say no. I personally believe that this new trend of companies trying to do standardized testing for their employees is actually a way to be discriminatory. And what I mean by that is not everyone is a good test taker, but they may be a great employee. I'm someone where they put a lot of stress on a time period, and they're usually done in, anywhere from 15 to 75 minutes, and there's a lot of questions. I'll get flustered, and perhaps I would have done better if I had time to review the material, but I had not had time to do that. So I do not do anything with those companies. If they ask me, I say, I don't believe in this process. I find it rather discriminatory. So I wish you the best, and I hope you find the right candidate. So don't be afraid to push back if it's against your morals or if it's against something that you believe in, because this is your job, it is your hunt, and you want to be happy at your next place. I can give you another example of, I think maybe 2 years ago, someone emailed me from a company, and the first thing they asked for was my credit report. And I immediately wrote back and said, absolutely not. I was like, I haven't even had a first conversation with a hiring manager, and they said they did this because of company cards. I've been a consultant for years. I've had company cards. I've never violated it. So it really doesn't matter what your credit score is. That just seemed like they were trying to get insider information about you that they're just not entitled to get. And so I said, no, I don't provide that. I will not provide that information. And I wish you the best of luck. Always wish them the best of luck, because if there is a time that an opportunity arises and perhaps they tweak their process, they will think of you. And something that I have been encouraging in my more leadership roles is that I think CEOs should go through the application process every year for people coming into their company, because I think they'll see how difficult it can be. Sometimes you'll have an easy apply on LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden you're typing in your entire experience again and handling all these questions that you would typically be asked during an interview. I put caution there because to me, that is not human. There's a human on the other side of those questions, and they're applying to the job because they think they can do really well. And by giving them these kind of short blurbs to answer, it just really feels like you're just taking a test and that you're actually not connecting with the recruiter. And then another thing that I would also say is that when you do have one of those, thank goodness, applications where it just asks for your cover letter and your resume and just some demographic information, make sure you flag that role and responsibility, because if you are off of that job, you're going to want to put that on your LinkedIn as well in terms of some of the responsibilities that you'll be holding. So be sure to copy and paste that. And finally, please, please, please make sure that you are engaged on LinkedIn, engaged with other job boards. You want to build your network, you want to build endorsements, and you want to show that you are a very credible, reliable, and dependable employee. So those are the tips that I have for today. I do hope that this helps everyone. Good luck out there, and I will talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.